Welcome back to Let's Chat. I'm your host, Nikki Luciano. Today we're joined by Missy, Mason, and Destiny. Um, Today's topic is called accountability. And before we get into that, I think we're going to just sit here and kind of get caught up. That's what I like about doing podcasts is you can do it at your own pace. I'm not trying to be like anybody else out there. So what I wanted is listeners that could join in every week and just kind of see if they can relate to something. I like to talk about things that people can relate to usually. So let's start with what was I going to say? How about our crappy weather? We thought we were in the middle of spring, or the beginning of spring, I should say. We live in Wisconsin, and it was up in like the 50s. And then Mother Nature got cracked out and decided to dump 8 inches of snow on us the night before last. So we're just trying to recoup from that. It was like Mother Nature's early April Fool's Day prank on us. And I am not one for jokes, so I wasn't very happy. Yeah, so what is today, like 38 degrees or some shit?
36.
Oh, it's 36 degrees. So
39 in Waukesha.
Oh, it's 39 in Waukesha?
It's 40 here.
Oh, it did get up to 40.
But it feels like 36.
I'm just enjoying watching all the snow melt off of the trees. Of course, yesterday one of my squirrels got pegged in the head with a big wad of snow that melted off of a branch, and it knocked him clean out of the tree. I was pretty worried about that. My husband didn't want me to go out there and check on this squirrel. He's like, yeah, you're Buddy the elf. You're going to go out there and be like, checking on this squirrel and watch it gnaw your face off. But I worry about God's creatures, big and small. Just because my sons call them rats with bushy tails doesn't mean that they're not a living thing and shouldn't be, taken care of. But I'm hoping for warmer weather soon, I need sunshine and at least 80 degrees. And just to be able to drive down the street with the window open and turn on the music and
65.
65. What are you, an Eskimo?
75. 75 and sunny. No breeze.
75 with a slight breeze.
Slight warm breeze.
My back gets sweaty.
See, I must have been spoiled.
Armpits are like faucets.
I must have been spoiled as a kid. I lived for several years. Yeah, get your microphones closer. Nobody can hear you.
Yes.
Oh.
We're running off of this right now.
Okay, we are running off of this.
Oh, the microphones aren't working? Oh.
We're going to have to check it out. There's a system problem. We'll do it after the show. We're just going to have to yell like we usually do.
You don't have to. You're good.
Well, that's because I got a big...
You got to scream.
What, you want to move closer?
Not really.
You want to sit on my lap?
Yes, please.
What do you mean, not really? I showered, bitch.
Oh.
I didn't.
I'm going to move the laptop. It's going to be noise.
All right. Sorry about all the weird noises. We're moving equipment around because somewhere something got disconnected. We will fix that after the show. Anyway, as I was saying, I must have got spoiled all those years that I lived in California because it was like 65, 70 degrees on Christmas Day. And I remember as kids, me and my brother used to be able to ride our bikes and roller skate and such on Christmas Day. And then we come back here to the godforsaken, frigid Antarctic over here of Wisconsin. And I'm miserable for about 6 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go with book updates. As I've told many of you, probably several times, Bill, William Crooks, he edited my book, Mr. Christopher Wants to See You. And I finally got around to, I made the the revisions that needed to be made that he found. And I ran it through spell check again and through Grammarly, and it's ready to go. We're just waiting for Mason to tweak the cover and add an updated picture inside the book, along with the about the author section. And then we're going to do the same thing to Fire Within Me. And I'm hoping that by the end of this month, we have the books ready to be sent back in and back on the shelves again. I had to pull all the books because when somebody tells me there's a problem with the book, immediately I pull the books and I try to fix it. So that's that. And then I got to get started on Mr. Christopher Part 2 and Fire Within Me Part 2. I don't know if I should work on them, simultaneously, like every other day, work on one book, or should I
one
just
project and just pound it?
Yeah, that's my ADHD. I'm like, I want to be here and there. That's probably why I like squirrels, because I'm kind of like everywhere.
Nutty?
And Missy got this machine. It's called the Cricut. You want to explain to everybody what that is?
I don't know, crafting machine. It's like a vinyl cutting machine, but this one I can engrave wood and metal and cut wood and things like that with it. So you can make shirts and tumblers and house signs, whatever.
Hats
everything.
and signs.
Yeah, you
And
can make pretty much everything.
so we've been like just goofing around with this machine. I bought the hot press, the warm, what do they call it? The heat press. And that's what you use to iron on the letters for like making T-shirts. It's kind of like screen printing. Yeah,
In essence, it's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's just better quality screen printing, I would say, maybe.
Yeah, all I know is this shit is expensive AF. And
I know, I just want more vinyl.
Tanner, if you're listening, you didn't hear that.
I didn't hear nothing.
But we've been messing around making T-shirts. Missy made me a Mr. Christopher Wants to See You T-shirt, and I want to have everybody I know start wearing these T-shirts around town and start advertising for it, because then it's gonna kind of, be the opener for when we put out the signs randomly across the state of Wisconsin that say, it just says Mr. Christopher Wants to See You, and then the website, the web address on the bottom. And that's how I want to advertise this book. I mean, if it worked for the movie Scream, why can't I do it,
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine, people's faces when they just see these signs all
I
over?
had a dream last night that Tanner surprised us and bought like the signs that we needed.
Mhm.
And I woke up and the signs were there and he didn't know that I already ordered the vinyl. So then we set up and we just drove around, and I made in my dream, I made a post on like the Nextdoor app, and I was like, who would, be willing to have this sign in their yard for like 2 weeks to help promote this book? And so, I mean, I'm even dreaming about this stuff now.
Yeah, see, I don't want people to know it's promoting a book, though.
So maybe we shouldn't talk about it too much on here.
Well, not many people from Wisconsin are listening to this.
But I mean, where are you going to put it? You have to have permission from people to put the signs out. So
Not on phone poles, not on medians, not on street
you can't
corners.
put them on medians.
Yeah, you can.
No, you
No,
can't.
that's illegal.
City property. I can't even put
We did it all the time for rummage sales.
Yeah, now you can't. That truck literally drove past, and that little patch of grass right by the road, that's owned by the city, but we have to maintain it. We're not allowed to put signs out. They stole Dad and Vinny's signs out of my front yard.
We'll fight. I'll go right up to his face. I'll say, give me my
You have to
sign.
see-
You'll get your sign
Guard the
back.
sign.
Yeah, you have to stand
Good.
there 24/7
Let's have,
on all your signs.
Yeah.
well,
It's going to be, like I told her, we're going to lose a lot of signs. Scrappers are going
why-
to take them.
That's why we get permission from telling that one homeowner, like, hey, I'm promoting my book. Can we put this here?
but then you're going to have to ask them not to, if somebody knocks on your
Okay,
door,
then they
don't tell them what it's about.
Yeah.
Say, I don't know.
Visit the website.
The world doesn't really care enough to ask people.
Yeah, people
about
aren't
it.
going to stop and knock
What
on
does your
people's
sign
door.
mean?
Like, what is yours? They're
No.
going to look up the website and find
Yeah.
out for themselves. But you have to get permission from people. Otherwise, all those signs that you put out are going to be in the trash.
Yeah.
Every
If
single
I
one.
woke up to a random sign in my yard, gone.
I called cops too.
Especially if I went on the website and saw what we're gonna do.
Definitely.
I'm not
cops
having.
involved.
Yeah, I'm getting the FBI. I'm in the witness protection program.
For sure. That sounds fun.
Okay,
A
let's. So anyway, we're gonna have these T-shirts and hats and tumblers, and we're gonna be making stickers for our windows on our vehicles that advertise and promote our books. And the T-shirts that we do, because I did come up with the company called Boss Bitch. It's going to be Boss Bitch Apparel, and I don't know. I have a real good feeling about it. I want to promote it as an empowerment for women. I mean, there's certain words in the English language that people take offense to too easily. You give it power when you're offended. And when a man or another female calls a woman a bitch, up until, like as of recently, people have taken offense to that. And I wear it like a badge of honor because I look at it this way. People that are called a bitch are usually really empowered women, women that don't take shit from other people. And, yeah, it's an empowerment. It's a movement.
I just don't really get easily offended by words. I don't easily get offended by words.
Yeah.
She gets offended by actions.
Yeah.
Don't wave me.
No, like
Okay, I'll stop you.
the C word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
See you next Tuesday? Don't call me. I mean, that word, that's just, come up with a better word. Be original.
Well, can I
right?
tell you that word, it's a female body part, and
That's
A
We're
derogatory term for it.
yeah, it's like a slang term for
but
it.
when you think about it, technically it is a female body part, and I'm sorry, boys, but our female body parts are a lot tougher than your male body parts are. If we get kicked there, we're not going to be crying for a week laying in a ball.
I
As I said,
literally 2 weeks ago, I picked up Lyric. She was wearing her boots. And Maverick, yeah, I got a heel. Oh man,
Okay.
I always rock her.
Does a male body part, well, I shouldn't even ask this part during what we're going through in the United States here. I was going to say, does a male body part push out an 8-pound baby? Women are
we're
tougher.
just fighting with the axe.
He's blowing my ashes all around. All right, let's get into, how about the email that I got the other day? I get an email, and probably, I'm not naive. I actually reached out to Bill, and I asked him, I said, do you think this looks legit? It was from, what was the guy's name?
Something Gooder.
Yeah,
Mike Gooder?
Mark Gooder?
Mark Gooder.
I think that
I mean,
was
he's
his
like the
name.
actual.
He's an actual person, but it wasn't from him, stating that this movie production company, wanted to make my book into a movie. And, part of me wanted to be excited. I mean, anybody would,
She almost jumped off the couch. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not loud, all right, because
we
at
are
the
all
chance.
excited.
But we are a family of researchers. We research the F out of everything. So right away, Mason and I first I sent it to Bill because Bill is the smartest man.
Well, as soon as you sent it, like, why does it sound like there's a bunch of toddlers upstairs?
That's
Goliath.
Desi's dogs.
That's
Gotcha.
Desi's dogs.
As soon as you sent it, I started Googling him right away to
Well,
make
so
sure
was
like
I.
he was real. Like,
I had one eye open and that was Googling.
yeah, I didn't even.
It was a scam.
I
didn't even
actually,
fully
I
read.
kind of thought it was a scam because I was like, this can't be fucking real. This can't be fucking real. That's all I kept repeating. So in my mind, my subconscious already knew this was not fucking real.
I knew it was fake when I saw that they didn't mention your book name, and grammatically it looked like an illiterate toddler wrote it.
Yeah. And that's what Bill said too. And I knew this. I saw the grammatic error, but there's always that chance because I'm sure Mark Good, what's his name? Gooder or whatever his name is. He doesn't write his own personal, communications. He has somebody who does that. And even on the local news, they have people that, put the stuff on
They're
the air.
communications people.
Yeah, communications people. And they make errors too. I've seen spelling mistakes on the air.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's because I wanted it to be so real.
Yeah.
But
And any
if it's
human being that's in the situation, like they're putting themselves out there like this, they get an email like that. That's why so many people fall prey to scams, is because like
You want it so bad.
they want it so bad.
It's what they're waiting for every day.
They're
and then-
so hopeful. It's something they've been praying for, begging for, and then all of a sudden the scam comes through, and you're like, oh my god. And part of your brain is going, nope, it's not real. But the other part's going, shut up. That's what we've been wanting.
yeah.
Like.
Well, I didn't respond to it. I immediately went into, researcher mode. I had Bill giving me his opinion while I was, Googling and trying to find it. What I ended up doing was I went on Google and I researched the company and, the guy's name, the CEO of what company was that?
Icon Productions.
Icon Productions. And it showed, scam letter going around. And I was like, crap, But I'm glad that, we do have the mind of researchers. We don't buy into anything 100% without checking it, double checking it, triple checking it, and then passing it on to each other and they check it too,
Especially with all of us working together, you cannot
You don't
pull
stand a
over
chance.
our eyes.
No.
You cannot trick us.
No.
I'm not going to lie. I was really disappointed.
Oh,
you
sure.
know? I
And
mean,
like when you sent over the email, like I forgot what I was even doing. Middle doing something with the kids, and then I'm like skim reading it, and then like there's certain words that caught my eye, and I'm like, what? And I reread it again, and I was like, oh my god! Like I got so excited, I all but called Tanner. Like you'll never guess what's going on, But I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when something good is going on, I'll like say something, and then all of a sudden it goes south, and then you're like, dang it! If I wouldn't have said anything, it probably would have went through. So I'm like, well, this one's not going to be on me, so I'm not telling anybody until we sign the contract.
if you see something, you say something.
No, I'm saying like I was excited about it at
Oh.
first. Like I caused an earthquake. My bad.
The first words that popped into my head, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
It always is.
But it didn't sound like too good to be true because they didn't give, and that's where they get you. They didn't give a lot of detail.
They show a lot of interest, but not detail. Yeah.
Yes.
What threw me was they wanted me to come up with like the screenplay and the pitch and the video
And the marketing
Yeah.
and like everything.
I was like, bitch, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, they wanted you to do their job.
Yeah.
And then they were going to
Well-
steal your idea. And,
Well, that's what I told Dad. I said, you know what they're doing? They wanted me to send in all this stuff and sign documents, exclusivity and all this other shit. And then they're going to take it. We signed it away. They're going to take it and they're going to pitch it to a movie company.
and I've heard of that happening many times before where like no-name people have come up with ideas for stuff.
Yeah.
And then the big name people hear about it and they're like, oh, here.
Quick, get them to sign these
Here's
papers.
$2,000,
Yeah.
sign this paper real quick. And then all of a sudden they're a multi-million
Or they
dollar.
don't even pay, and they're like, what are you going to do? You're a nobody.
Yeah. Prove that it was your idea first.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. I felt like I was kicked in the gut.
Yeah.
And
And
it
that's
like
why I
winded
said-
me for maybe 15 minutes.
And that's why I sent you that video I did this afternoon.
Yeah.
You have to fail to succeed.
Yeah.
There has to be
But then
road bumps to make you appreciate where you finally get.
But then yesterday, I had some con artists trying to get fucking money out of me.
Sorry.
Not
I am your daughter.
No, seriously. Somebody trying to scam money out of me, and that's I don't know. I think it's like an eye opener from God. He's going, you know what? Look at all these really crappy people out here that are doing this stuff. You got to stay focused, not be distracted by these outside temptations of the devil.
But then also see it as you have something here that other people want to be a part of. Granted, they're scammers. Scammers aren't going to waste their time in something that they're not going to make money at.
Yeah.
So there's the end goal is if the scammers took the time out of their day to reach out to you,
Uh-huh.
you got something. You got something that somebody wants.
Or maybe they're just shitty people and they'll do it to anybody and
Well,
everybody, you know?
I think of it as look at it however way you want that will give you the most motivation. Use it as motivation.
And that's what I did. At first, I was like, well, see, I'm kind of.
You got a stamp on yourself?
Yeah, I don't know
It's a
where I picked it up.
She really wants to leave.
You were mailing yourself.
I'm mailing myself to
You
my.
need more than one stamp.
I'm saying no offense, but we need more than one.
Thanks.
You're a double stamper.
You weigh more than a piece of paper.
Way to hurt me.
Okay, you weigh as much as a piece of paper. You anorexic cow, go away.
That's what it did. At first, because I'm the type of person that right away I want to lash out. I'm a reactor, you know?
Overreact. Yeah.
Yeah, I overreact a lot.
I'll face her.
In anger, you know? So I wanted blood. Instantly, I wanted blood. I wanted to call on my ancestors, the spirit of my ancestors, and I think I was like cursing them in my mind, you know? But then as I no sooner said the words, and Mason said, nope, stop right there. Don't do that. Why don't you call on your ancestors to give you the strength and support and the moxie that it's going to take to get out there and get this shit done? We no sooner got done talking about that. You know how
As Mason was saying.
yeah, as Mason was saying it, you know how on what is that, Facebook, you got these memories? Boom, up pops this memories. And it showed all the pictures of my ancestors' graves from all the trips that we've taken to, you know, like Wazeeka, Wisconsin and Boscobel, Wisconsin, and, you know,
Duchesne.
Sparta and Prairie du Chien. Here's all these ancestors' graves. Tell me that wasn't fucking ironic. That was more than a coinky dink, let me tell you. It was their way of saying, we got you. And
text received.
yeah, that's what I said too. I was like, it's like they said, I see you, girl, and we got you, and we're going to get this shit done. So we stayed up until all hours of the night last night, talking about plans and things that we're going to do. I called a meeting for last night. I said, or was that the night before? Yeah, I called a meeting because that's what I've always done with my children. I call a meeting, we get together when one of us seems to be losing hope. And we just have a dream night where we sit and we talk about what we're going to do if and when this happens or that happens, you know, if the books are a success, if the books turn into a movie. And I know it sounds like an epic waste of time to somebody who's cynical and all like, you know, that's not the way you do it. You get out there and you fucking do it.
We do that too. We make the plan on how we're going to get to that point.
Yeah.
We don't just sit there and dream in fairyland. We talk about all the hard work we're going to do to get us there.
Well, and like when things happen, like with the scam email, we have our like 5-minute pity party.
Yep.
Then we plan, and then we execute the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And we conquer.
And that's
Because
the way we've always done.
That's the way I
everything.
raised my 8 children and, well, 11 of my 14 grandchildren. None of us are ever going to fucking quit, no matter how many brick walls we run into, no matter how many doors are slammed in our face, no matter how many rejection letters we may get, that ain't going to stop us. How many times was J.K. Rowling rejected before she became very successful?
I think the video said like 12 or
Said
something.
the creepy voice in the corner.
Yeah.
Desi's just a
12?
But no, we ain't gonna stop trying, you know. Maybe my genre is a little harder to get into than some genres that I know people that are very successful in. But you know what? When you work for something, the harder you work, once it comes through, you're just that much more appreciative than the person that it's just handed to because of family history or, you know,
Bad
names, shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
I am going to appreciate it more, and I am going to, and that's another thing we were talking about yesterday. Why is it the shitty people always get success and shitty people that always win the lotteries? And, you know, people that are going to be like, no, this is my money. I don't have family. What are you talking about? You're my uncle from Arizona, you know?
Because Satan can give just as much as God can give. And I'd rather get the gifts from God than from Satan.
How long in your life do you, recall back to that we've always had dreams and talked about if we ever got a large sum of money, all the people, how many other people did we say we were going to help? We talked about going to Children's Hospital for every Christmas and giving them a big blowout Christmas because we know that they have terminal cancer and terminal this or terminal that. And we just want to affect other people's lives, veterans, homeless people.
Even when we have issues of our own,
Yeah.
we still help homeless people. We still do all that stuff. It's not just the money that drives us.
In the winter times, you know, in the winter months, things are hard for us, okay? We may have $20 in our pocket, but if we're driving down the street to get to our destination and we see somebody standing there holding a sign, we stop and we give them that 20 because I've taught my kids my entire life, their entire lives, that if you have little to nothing and you give that to somebody else that needs it more than you do, he's gonna bless you 10 times over.
It's like when we were door dashing, and I know we said the story before, but none of us, we literally had no money. I was out there door dashing because things were tough.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up one order, and the lady was like, "Oh, this, the customer never came and got this. We're closing. Do you guys want it?" It was a pizza. Sure. Got it in the car, started driving. There was that homeless guy standing on the corner, and he was rough.
His sign said something about being hungry.
Yeah, and would work, and he wasn't just looking for a handout; he was looking for a hand up. And we're scrambling, trying to find change, and then Desi in the back seat's like, "Well,
Want a pizza?
anybody gonna eat this pizza?" And we're like, "He will."
Yeah.
Literally gave him the pizza. Like, we had no money.
Wasn't he with
A guy and a girl. Yeah.
And before we even started driving away, they were mowing down that pizza.
Yeah, and they're, "Oh my God, God bless you, and
Like, isn't that the same night that you got led to that fire?
No.
different night.
Oh, I thought that was the same day.
DoorDash is crazy, man.
Here's my kids. They see a fire in one of the worst neighborhoods in Wisconsin.
And Missy's
in the core.
like 7 months pregnant, supposed to be on bed rest.
Yeah. And they jumped out of the car
I wasn't even supposed to be door dashing.
practically before the car was parked. Here's Mason and Desi jumping out of doors. Missy throws it into park.
But
she jumps out, waddles across the sidewalk. And
Missy had the common sense to go to a parking lot so that the fire trucks could get right there.
And thankfully we did, because we got squashed.
Yeah, they have no problem ramming
but
vehicles.
my kids were beating down the doors, and that's the way they were raised. You know,
And we stayed till that fire was out.
Saved that man in his underwear. Welcome.
Mason had hot flames spitting inches away from his head,
we all had
and he's
ashes
beating
on us.
on windows trying to make sure nobody's in this building.
We smelled like a barbecue grill for a long time.
Yeah.
We got
that
in
was
the car and we were like, wow, we smell like fire.
We stink.
We're toasted.
Yeah.
I'm a little darker.
I was looking for blisters. That's how close we were to the fire. Like, no joke. We were
Yeah, but what did that fire chief say to y'all?
They call
called
us
us citizen heroes.
heroes.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you.
Get that
And
as a bumper
that's
sticker.
And that's what angers me so bad. I mean, look at how good you guys are. and how much we always try to help people. And then we get these dicks that try to scam us. And we see, people around us that are, they're not even trying and they're succeeding.
See, my thing is like,
Yeah, I'm salty. You can say it. I'm salty.
yeah, but for the most part, I don't really pay attention to like what other people are doing. And maybe that's like a fault of mine. But like, Tanner, he'll see, we're watching a movie and he's like, oh, I wonder what their net worth is. What do you care? You're not getting any of it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you care what Joe Schmo's net worth is? Worry about what your net worth is. Work on that. There's nothing you can do about.
Well, see, I can't change how I am. I'm sensitive. I am empathetic. Like if I watch the news and I see that this young boy pisses his whole life away at 16 years old, shooting somebody, okay? My heart fucking cries because I'm feeling bad for the kid because he pissed his life away. I'm feeling bad for his mom because this isn't what she wanted,
I feel bad for the mom, the family of the
victim.
crime committer.
Oh, the criminal.
Yeah.
And the victim. I don't feel bad for the criminal himself because he made that choice.
And 99.9% of the time, that's not their first crime they've committed.
But you have to ask yourself if society did that,
I'm in the same society you're in.
Yeah.
Prince said in one of his songs about children, they only imitate their atmosphere.
No. Look at our family.
Yeah,
We have a very diverse.
very. And we all grew up the same way.
We all were raised the same exact way with the same
It's-
exact morals, same exact standards.
Yeah. It's how impressionable.
But what's the topic of this podcast? Accountability.
Yes.
Everybody's got to be accountable for their own actions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went out and shot somebody. He shot somebody. His mom didn't make him shoot him. His dad didn't make
What
him
did
shoot
he
him.
get out of ending somebody else's life?
Yeah.
A couple
But
bucks?
there are
Probably not
people
in that.
Life in
that
prison?
do,
Yeah.
like I just said a few minutes ago, I'm a reactor. What if, they're victims of their own reactions? I'm not saying I would ever kill anybody.
You are responsible for any, and this is what I teach my kids. You're responsible for any choice you make in life.
But
Good,
what
bad,
if?
or ugly, you're responsible.
But what if their parents didn't raise them with that?
Then
Then they should have been smart enough to, once they got older and saw that my friends aren't out there killing people, my friends aren't out there doing this, maybe I shouldn't.
Well, what
be
if
doing
they
it.
are? What if he's hanging on? You've seen down in Milwaukee how people act. They act like freaking animals.
That's because they're all, what's the word?
Entitled?
That's the word.
mm-hmm.
People these days are raised with this entitled gene just embedded into them that
Oh, I
if
knocked
you
that
have
right out of your
something-
heads.
if you have something I want, I'm going to take it because I want it.
Mm-hmm.
I knocked
just
that
like-
out of your heads.
When you take your kids to a play date, you have to share your toys.
Yeah.
No, those are your toys. Why does Joe Schmo get to come up and say, hey, I want your truck, and you have to give it to him?
Yeah.
You can have it when I'm done playing with it.
I believe in what I do with Haley's kids. Take turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want it? Okay, wait till he's
Exactly.
done with this round of the game.
But nowadays, the kids are, well,
You hand it
if
over.
little
But
Billy comes over and says, I want to play with that truck, you're supposed to just hand it to him.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing with it right now.
I taught you
You can have it in a few minutes. Sharing is one thing, but just like being
Giving.
people's doormats and
Yeah.
and that's what
No, I told
society
you that.
wants everybody to be. Like if Billy comes up to you and says, hey, I want to color on that page, you're supposed to hand it over. No, that's my page.
Yeah,
If
I
I-
did teach you to stand up for yourself and what's right. If somebody walks up to you and says, hey, bitch, give me that soda. I'm going to give it to you, but you ain't going to like where I put it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I did teach you to be kind. If you I don't know. I just kind of taught you from what was in the Bible that, if you have 2 jackets and somebody else has none, You're supposed to give.
Even if I have
of
one
them.
jacket and I have the means to get another one eventually, I'm gonna give them that one jacket.
Yeah.
I know I got other stuff at home.
Yeah.
I'll give you my.
Because
I know I have a home.
Yeah.
no matter how bad you think your life is, there are at least 100 people in your state, at least, that would kill to have what you have. No matter how bad you think it is.
Some neck problem. Yeah.
But let's get into accountability.
I could just count it.
Well, no, there's far more to be said about it. Now, Webster's dictionary, Merriam-Webster's dictionary, defines accountability as the quality or state of being accountable, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. And I've always tried to teach you kids that. If you fuck up, tell me you fucked up. Yeah, I'm going to be mad, but I'm not going to be as mad as if you lie to me.
Lying to me doesn't change lying doesn't change the fact that you made that mistake.
Yeah.
Now you just made your situation worse.
Lying
Yeah,
just
it's the
changes
snowball
how I'm
effect.
gonna react about it.
Yep.
Like with Mia, like stuff last year. She wasn't 100% innocent.
Mhm.
She will tell me straight out, and she told, everybody at the school straight out, like, yeah, I did this. And that's one thing that all the teachers, except for one, administration, the cops that were involved, everything, they're like, she takes accountability for the part she played in it.
And that's what more of America needs. Actually, the world, not just America,
The world needs
We're just a
more
little
proactive
corner.
parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are popping out kids just for the food share and the stimuluses and the tax returns.
Amen.
And then they
sister.
figured out that the tax returns aren't as good as they used to be, and stimuluses are done, so now they have to work,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and so now they're paying somebody else to raise their kids.
And they're not going to go out there and work for under $15 an hour.
Gas prices, you can't.
You know what? They can raise gas prices
No.
up to $5
Shut
a
your
gallon,
mouth.
$6 a gallon. We still have to fucking get to work.
It makes it harder though.
It does make it harder, but you know what? Sitting there pissing, whining, and moaning about
Because
it.
You don't
gas
have
prices
to.
are going up, but is your pay going up when gas jumps
No.
30 cents overnight?
No, and it's a
Exactly.
struggle, but you know
And that's
what? You
why
got to
so
buckle
many-
up and take that ride.
But that's why so many companies have went belly up now.
Yeah.
Look at,
Yeah.
go drive down the street and see, compared to 4 years ago, 5 years ago, how many vacant buildings there are now.
I know. It's sickening to drive
Even
down the
like-
street and see these beautiful little shops that used to be in these strip malls. They couldn't make it. They couldn't keep up. They
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Number one, they can't get people to come in there and work for
Even-
what they're paying.
Yeah, because even like fast food restaurants, everybody and their mom can get a job at a fast food restaurant. Like there's no qualifications.
They make so much money there too now.
Yeah,
I wish that was like
but
that when I
now,
worked there.
you drive up and it says, oh, sorry, we had to close. And people didn't show up for their shift.
Yeah,
because,
that's-
getting back to the parenting. Parents aren't.
You want to
Yeah.
talk about entitled people? If my listeners are listening, if you ever visit the state of Wisconsin, skirt as far around Muskego, Wisconsin as you can, because just look at the one area by Muskego Walmart, that one particular restaurant that has changed hands like 5 times in the last, 6 years?
That's because.
That's
that
because
location
Their
Well-
kids don't want to show up for their
coming in
shifts.
from New Berlin right there.
Mhm.
New Berlin is the problem there.
Okay,
I
so
was saying,
skirt
but you
around
have that-
New Berlin
You
too.
have that everywhere. In McGuanago, there's that one restaurant that it's been like 5 different things in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's pathetic. And what really gets
Wendy's
me,
is staying strong in Muskego though.
how about the old Waukesha Walmart over on 59?
They just moved because they got
Yeah,
bigger.
they moved,
They got
but
a
what did they do
different
with the old building?
It's
They
a-
frickin' demolished it and
it's like
rebuilt.
isn't it like a St.
Yeah, it's
Vincent de Paul?
no, that's a snowmobile and
Well-
like ATV store.
Okay, the buildings that do go vacant. Look at Kmart.
Yeah, that's sat empty for a long time.
That's sat empty for like 10 years. That's where we
Look at
did our
Northridge
POW
Mall.
events.
Northridge Mall.
Well, they have to do something now because they got
The
cops that
building's
are.
falling apart.
Well, yeah.
They're in a lawsuit with the company that owns the building, which is in China.
Why Why would you keep a building that's
I
falling
love the
apart?
way you say China, just like my favorite man.
But there is
China.
another. So the 30 seconds of news I've actually watched in the past like 4 years. Another company stepped up and said, "Hey, if nobody else is doing with this, like we want to buy it."
Yeah.
They set up these huge like security systems. They have people going in there, contractors. They're hiring people to go in there, make it more sturdy, safe. They have these huge like poles out there with cameras all around.
Mhm.
And then if somebody trespasses onto the property, these lights start flashing, and then an audio thing comes on and says, "You are trespassing. You are being video recorded. The cops have already been called." Blah blah. Like all this
Awesome.
stuff. Like
Did they go to Alarmtronics to get that shit?
I don't know, but they were on the news, and they really want to buy the place, but it's the company in China that, because they owe so much money on that place.
Mhm.
Well, you know what? That's bad business. What do you want to call it? Dealings on their part. You don't buy a mall in the ghetto of Milwaukee.
It was already ran down when you bought it, but when they bought it, they weren't keeping it as a mall. They
I'm
were going to
saying
do
when
something else.
Northridge first came into.
Yeah. Well, when
You know.
Northridge first came out there, it wasn't as bad
It
as it
wasn't
is
the
now.
ghetto.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't
It's-
as bad as it is now.
The only time the north side of Milwaukee was not bad is when Dad, who is going to be 66 years old next month, was a 5-year-old child, and they just first moved into it. It quickly and rampantly, like hellfire, turned into the core. And Northridge Mall wasn't around when Dad was a kid. It came afterwards, so it was already a
Yeah, they
ghetto.
opened in
72.
72.
Yeah, when Dad graduated from high school.
Ay, ay, ay.
No, he graduated in 75. I'm sorry, I lied.
Well, yeah.
But by then, you know,
Accountable.
it was just horrible. Dad's dad, your grandpa, hated it. He wanted, oh, excuse me, I hiccuped. He wanted to move out, but he had bought his house on the VA loan, and the house still wasn't paid off yet. So, you know, back then you didn't just up and move when you had, you know, mortgages and shit like
They
that.
still-
Can't nowadays.
Yeah.
If you have a house, you got to sit tight because it's hard to get one.
Well, they're saying right now it's a buyer's market, not a seller's market.
It's a lender's market.
No, they just said that the other day on the news. It is a buyer's market.
But also the interest rate is so high that
Ridiculous.
you'd be stupid to buy a house right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the money part, like, oh, you can get, you know, this big of a house for $100,000.
But also right now is you got to watch out for predatory loans.
Yeah.
The loan company is going to give you a loan that they know you can't pay off
Uh-huh.
because when you default on it, they're selling your house.
Oh yeah, they are the big bad wolf.
And even if you do pay on it, that $100,000 house that you bought, in the
It's
long run,
actually
it's
worth
gonna
$50,000.
and it's gonna cost you like $500,000.
Well, with the shit that the banks are going through and the threat of the collapse of banks, I think anybody that decides to sell or buy a house right now is ignorant. You know, we're walking on.
Yes and no. It depends on what
Not gonna.
classification you're in. Like the higher class people, they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, once
Yeah.
I can buy a house, I'm buying a house.
Hey, if you
But
can take a loss, go for it.
I'm not
but
paying
I
somebody
can't.
else's mortgage.
Exactly.
And I mean,
Our
renting is more
economy-
than a mortgage right now.
Mhm.
It's harder to get a rental
Oh, I
than a
know.
mortgage.
I know.
The economy right now is like you're walking on ice and you can hear it cracking under your feet.
That's how it's always been, though.
Not
The
always.
government's never been trustworthy.
No, I
people
know
just-
that.
They were just more gullible, I guess.
The more
This wasn't
I
as bad.
the more I
Yeah.
listen to my son Vinny, the more I'm tending to agree with the fact that he said
We should move.
there should not be two parties in our government. It should be a three-party system.
It should be a one-party thing. We should all work for the betterment of America.
I'm saying,
Amen.
like we all should have like the same goal and to live in a better world. It shouldn't be, well, I want to live in a better world. No, I
Well,
want my money.
Like Vinny said, this was all created to create a divide. Same with religion. Religion was created to create a divide.
That's why I don't talk about you don't need to know about my politics, my religion, none of that.
No,
Know me
my
as a
sexual preference,
know me as a person, that's all you need to know.
yeah. Listen to music I play.
Well, that's the way it was when I was growing up, you know. If you would have asked Grandma Rose, who'd you vote for? She'd say, mind your own damn business.
Yeah.
That's none of your business, and you have no right to ask me that.
Mhm.
You know, they kept that stuff all quiet. Grandma Rose never talked about religion.
People nowadays don't do that though. Like, people are so looking for getting accepted by everybody. Like, oh, I voted for this. Who did? You know, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
I don't care who you voted for.
It's because everybody wants to be liked.
Well,
Yeah.
even
I don't care about getting liked.
even in an altercation, you know, a verbal altercation, somebody will go, oh yeah, typical Trumper. How do you know who the fuck I voted for?
Mhm.
Why? Because I'm not walking around with, you know, piercings and weird colored hair and shit. You automatically assume I'm a Trumper?
Missy, did you vote for Biden?
Fired.
It's none of your business.
Oh, okay.
But
I'll listen.
Yeah.
so accountability. What was that?
The ADHD is
You
rampant.
couldn't make it as a news anchor because your segue is not good.
Yeah.
We gotta
This is
work
why she doesn't do road construction. Her transitions are horrible. You would know
Why?
this
What
guy.
did I do?
I don't know, just randomly.
just jumped. But we always do. Ah, my knee again.
You and this freaking table. I'm gonna hit you with the table on this door.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get my office set back up. And
Sticking Missy in the fridge.
if things change, they can sleep in the family room, you know?
My little toes.
No, I need to, because right now it probably sounds like we're talking in a bathroom, but it's an empty office.
Oh.
That was weird.
Well,
Don't like it, just go by the book and you don't have to hear us.
if you don't like it, there's a little X in the upper right hand corner.
Make sure you hit subscribe for us though.
Subscribe and like.
Yeah.
Accountability, yeah. I've always raised you kids to have
Make
accountability.
sure we're medication together.
And I think that 90% of the problems in the world today are lack of accountability. You know, if people could just be more open and honest about, you know, yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. You know, what are you doing? Desi's just over in the corner playing with light socket outlet plugs.
See, maybe we should have the live camera going.
Please
Got my
no.
nails done.
No, because I'm sitting here in my PJs. I didn't get dressed today. You can't do that on live camera. Well, you could, but
Whatever makes money.
no, don't say that now. You were raised better than that too.
But accountability, I'm gonna take accountability for these actions that I'm broke and I need that money.
I'll put my link in the bio.
Let's get into Mason's medical updates here.
Taking accountability for that.
There, maybe then he'll stop goofing so much.
My mom got me hit by a car.
Basic killed mom.
And I'm accountable.
I'm accountable for that.
You are. Look at me evolving.
Evolving as a person, look at me grow.
Are you alive?
Barely, you asshole. You're an asshole. Oh my God, he did that just as I took a drink of my coffee. I nearly died. I swear, I nearly died.
Never been accountable.
No, he's been having a lot of medical issues, especially
Yes.
lately it's his migraines, and we were trying to get to the root of his migraines. Oh Lord, I can't breathe. So he's been going to doctors and hospitals and getting tests and MRIs and CT scans and I don't know, spinal taps, and
Then having a CSF leak from a spinal tap, and
you have to speak more fluently here, more clearly. What kind of a leak do you have?
cerebrospinal fluid
Okay. And
from the lumbar puncture.
in layman's terms, when they stuck the needle in his spine to take the fluids from his spine so that they could test it. He developed a leak.
The hole never closed.
The hole never closed, and he was leaking profusely from this puncture. And
I mean, we still don't know if it healed.
yeah,
The whole sitting up thing, I gotta call my neurologist.
so he's like he's not under warranty, but we're still getting work done. It's kind of like a car. And as soon as the warranty lapses, that's when the shit starts happening and yada, yada, yada. And the reason I'm using the term out of warranty is because we already settled, how many years ago? Like 9 years ago on our car accident with the dump truck.
Mine settled in 2012.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's
11 years ago.
Yeah. So they're basically saying that the reason Mason is having all these migraines and problems with his spine and his neck is because of the car accident that we were in, and we settled for a good chunk of money, but it's not going to cover what's going on now.
That's nice.
So yeah, and there's no way that we can go back and, re-sue or anything like that. We just have to deal with it one day at a time, say a lot of prayers, and
Yeah, because every lumbar in my spine, cervical spine is messed up.
yeah. But yeah, so that's how that's going.
Vertebrae, not lumbar. I'm tired. Vertebrae in my spine.
Yeah, your lumbar, isn't that down here anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I was thinking of the lumbar puncture.
Yeah.
Is it hereditary? Because like.
Car accidents?
Kinda. Yeah, look at you.
Yeah. You got a lot of those genes.
Yeah. I think that's a lot though. Who's coming over for the Zetamex?
Coming on here, I think that Emgality shot got to me. It's making me break
I
out.
was sitting here, I'm surprised I didn't like poke my eye with this one.
Tell them about the shots that you have to take.
Don't do it. Feels like boiling battery acid.
What is it called?
Emgality.
Emgality, and what's it for?
Migraines.
Yeah, it kind of looks like one of those EpiPens, and you're supposed to like stab yourself in the leg with it. And when you first start out on Emgality, well, they told him he has to do 2 shots in one day, and then 1 shot every month thereafter. And this is to help deal with his migraines. Well, Destiny, who's a little savage girl, did she volunteer or did you recruit her?
I told her she was gonna do that. She thought I was joking. Like I could have done them myself, but I wanted to make her suffer too. But she enjoyed it.
Do you feel the love? So she went in there.
Nice about it. She asked if I wanted to count down or not.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you could do that. I could never do it. Bitch, I will put you through a wall.
It's an auto injector. You just hold it there and press the button.
You don't have to like
No,
stab.
no, you just hold
They
the
make
button.
it look like with the EpiPen, you've got to
EpiPen you have to. This one is a spring-loaded thing. My
Well,
lord.
you get the EpiPens that you stab yourself, you hit the button on top, you just press it.
Well, there's some EpiPens where the force of you hitting your leg triggers.
Yeah, and then like with the Lovenox that I had to take, you had to stab yourself and then slowly press the button.
I could get the preloaded syringes if I don't like the auto injector, because I mean that spring is like, my God.
You are making my stomach
Oh, I know.
flip flop. I couldn't ever be diabetic. That's why God keeps me from diabetes, because I couldn't do it. I'd die.
I don't mind, like the needle was fine and everything. This medicine
medicine
just
burns.
I even left it, they said you have to keep it out of the fridge for like half an hour. I even left it out of the fridge for 2 hours.
I can't even watch when me or one of my kids is getting a blood draw.
I have to watch.
No, girl, this mom is hitting the floor.
Tanner's taking care of the other kids because he's a fainter too, but I mean, I have no choice. If I have to be there, I might as well watch. What are you doing?
Mm-mm.
I'm not affected by blood or anything.
I have to try to think of something else, think of a song, and try to remember the lyrics to a song from back in the 60s while you're taking my blood, because otherwise I'm going to.
Oh, no, I
pass
watch.
out.
Yep.
Are you doing it right?
I watch their techniques on how they do it,
Yep.
and I can tell by how their hand lines up if it's going to hurt or not.
Yep.
Nope.
And then I always tell them, like, oh, that was a good poke.
And
Good
I
job.
can always tell by like how tight they tie the tourniquet thing.
Yep.
And if it's gonna be a good blood draw or not.
Mhm.
Like if they tie it tighter and the blood just comes out, they don't have to like work it.
Lemon jiggle.
And then I don't bruise.
I think the thing that did it for me was my veins always collapse when I get blood drawn.
Mm.
The nurse, she must have been new. My vein collapsed, the needle shot out, blood started squirting out, and she said, "I'll be right back." And she left the room.
Mm.
Then the doctor came in and he took care of it. And she lost her job that day for walking out on a patient. But
Marissa came in on a strange subject.
who said that?
Marie.
Oh, so she is alive.
She is.
Oh
Okay.
my God, my long lost sister from another mister.
Literally.
Yeah, well, that's why I call her that. Yeah, I thought she fell off the planet. I tried calling her and I get no response and no return phone call.
back.
Doesn't read the group chat. You're missing a lot of good stuff. A lot of good material there, guys.
But also a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of.
I mean, you have to have the stupid stuff to have the good stuff, too. I mean,
Well, it's kind of like this podcast. It's kind of like Seinfeld-ish, you
Kind
know.
of like Miss You baby names. I was like,
you gotta weed through the
she
stupid
sends
ones.
like 40 names, and I'm like, yep, the good job. Let's get all the horrible ones out of the way. Let's make room for the good ones.
Yep.
So, what is your? I'm going to ask all of you. What is your goal
What's
for
that?
these podcasts? I mean, what do you eventually hope will happen from it?
It will end.
Can I smack him on the air? What about you?
Oh. I mean, this is like your thing.
Yeah, I personally don't have goals. My goal with this is to get Mom's goals achieved,
Yeah, that's.
because this does nothing for me personally, mentally, physically. No offense, I really don't care.
Like I enjoy doing them, but it's like this is like your project.
Yeah.
And we're here to support you.
I
So
appreciate the
it's
support.
wherever you want us to go with it, that's where we're going.
We do it because you want to do it.
What about you, Des?
No comment.
Yeah, like all the microphones pointed to her, just like you had a press conference. No comment.
I don't really truly know what my goal is for the podcast. It's just something that I wanted to try. And like, okay, look at Shug, how she does her paranormal podcast. This person could sell charcoal to the devil, could sell ice cubes to an Eskimo. She is the epitome of a radio personality. I mean, she is just so good. She's a pro. She don't even try. It just comes so naturally to her.
She just has such an outgoing personality, though.
She's
like
a people person.
yeah,
Person.
She's a person. And same with Bill. He is phenomenal at what he does. I mean, and he's got like the radio voice,
Yeah, I know. Watching that interview, my God, it sounded like the intro to like a scary movie.
yeah.
He did an amazing job on that interview. He can take someone like me who's just this nothing from Wisconsin and make her out to be.
Do you have a link for that interview?
Yeah, I do. Well, can't you take?
I'm asking if you're allowed to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can put the link for that interview in the comments.
Yeah, I'll have.
And what I liked about that with Bill, you actually got to speak.
Yeah.
That's how he edited it, though. He asked questions. He edited himself out
Yeah.
to make it sound like Mom was telling a story.
But also, like, even when he was doing the interview, he
Mhm.
said, I'm not really going to talk much. You just go.
Yeah. And that's the way he holds, like, if I was talking, he would stop and listen.
Yeah.
I love interviews like that. I've had interviews where I've said maybe 5 words and I was like, I didn't get across what I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's just
know.
wasted money.
I also forgot what I was going to say.
That's what we
That's
call
what
a
I
brain
found out I
fart.
had to get to you.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk for days on things that I'm passionate about.
Oh, we know.
Oh, he listens, not with the intent to like respond,
Mhm.
He's just fully listening.
fully listening, and then he responds.
Yeah, that's the thing about Bill.
He like absorbs what you're saying and then afterwards can come up with a response. He's not sitting there listening to you, knowing what he's already going to say and just waiting
I
for
feel
you to
like
be done.
talking to him is like the definition of feeling heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not there to one up you. You know, like if you say, "Oh, I was walking my dog and a monkey jumped out of the tree." That's nothing. You got to hear this story. You know?
Yeah.
That's okay. No, it's not. My mom got me hit by a car.
Don't make me spit coffee. Yeah, he is an incredible listener, and he is the epitome of a true interviewer. You
He
know.
definitely does not have ADD. I can diagnose that right now.
No, he's like the smartest man I've ever met in my life. I mean, if you can't figure something out, he is right there and he knows what to do. And what's amazing is he's passing that on to his son, Josh,
Yeah.
the intern. Incredibly smart child. I mean, I know he's not a child. I'm sorry. He's like 16. I'm
He's not a
sorry,
child.
Josh. No, he is an incredibly smart young man. As far as technology stuff, he makes me look like a total flopping flounder. You know, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And Josh can figure it out 1, 2, 3. He's got.
Some people are just born with that though. Like look at Vinny when he was younger. He used to take apart computers and rebuild them all the time with a science teacher.
Yeah.
Does he do anything with that now? No. But
God
He
gave
has
me a
it.
big mouth. That's all I have is a
Yeah.
big mouth, and
Marie said, I find this as something pretty awesome that we will all be able to listen to years from now. Kids, grandkids, etc. Memories in digital form.
Oh yeah, I'm
Talking
saving
about,
it
like, with
all.
podcasts.
I have several binders. Like season 1 of all my podcasts are kind of like crap, so I kind of scrapped them. They're still on the internet. They're still on my YouTube channel, but I didn't do what I'm doing now. Like in season 2 here, I'll have my topics all printed up, and I put them in a binder, a 3-ring binder, and it's like Let's Chat season 1, episode 1, and that's in there. And what I want to do is I want to extract them somehow and put them onto one of those stick things. What are they called? Memory card,
Flash drive.
flash drive. That's the word. There it is. And
Was
I
it
want
tree,
to
stick?
put it into a little box and put that inside the pocket of the 3-ring binder so that my grandkids can turn around and be like, look what my freaking grandma did. You know, it may not be amazing to the rest of the world, but to my children and my grandchildren, this is their 60-year-old mom getting off her ass, not, giving up on life, not surrendering. We're getting shit done, and it's not important to the rest of the world, but it's important to us. I'm passing on my form of an empire. And same with like the ghost hunting one. I want to get as much documentation as I can. I want to capture it and I want to put it into these binders so that when my great grandkids say, what was Granny like? They can pull out these folders and they can play it. Of course, it'll probably be like 8-tracks are to us, where we have to try to find something that they can play it on. if there is a YouTube when we have great-great-grandchildren.
I mean, technology is going to do nothing but evolve.
Yeah.
That's why you were saying flash drive. I think we should just stick it on a portable hard drive. Those are more reliable.
You mean like the one I just got today?
Mm-hmm. But we need another
4
one.
terabytes, baby. I'm going to be saving a lot of stuff. I don't know. I've just always been like that. I love to talk to people, and that's why we started this. And if we can inspire just one person or make somebody laugh, that's a hard thing to do nowadays. You know, people do laugh and go, wow, you're stupid or whatever, but just lighten their mood for 1 minute. This world needs a lot of that. And I hope that someday that, you know, we can, I don't know, accomplish that. Just get that feeling of being able to make one person's day better or one person's minute better even. Because think about what's going on in the world today. It's kind of hard to find things to laugh about.
You laugh or you cry.
Yeah.
I do both.
Sometimes at the same time.
That's because you're bipolar.
And then I scare people. I'm laughing while I'm crying. That's great. She's broken.
That's where Missy's cue would have came in, but that's okay.
Mental illness, love.
There we go.
See, I wasn't going to say it, but you.
I mean, you said it on every podcast so far.
I mean, I have.
Why break tradition?
I'm so brokenhearted about the whole chalice
Did you
thing.
cry?
The whole chalice thing that I wanted to find something, you know, it's not that expensive, the thing that I did. Bill did so much for us by giving us the equipment to be able to do this, even though it's not everybody's thing. He knew how important it was to me, and he got us all this podcasting equipment. And I'm not a rich woman, so I couldn't, you know, like send him a $500 gift card or whatever and be like, hey, go ham.
I mean, if you have $500, you could have bought your own equipment.
But
Just saying.
I just wanted something that I could be like, hey, I see you, you know?
Thank you for
So-
believing in me.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of things, like when they have their podcast, when Bill's on the podcast on Wednesday night, he always drinks from this chalice. And I was like, I want to find a special chalice to send him, you know? Don't you get ready to kick me off my chair.
Oh, I'm ready. Guns are locked and loaded. I'm getting the Charlie horse.
But I was looking on Amazon and I was like looking for unique chalices. And I found this one, and it's like paranormal stuff. It's got like skulls on it, and it's kind of like Edgar Allan Poe type, you know? And it's got the keys and the keyholes. And I thought, wow. And it's purple too, because purple's my color. And so,
Sounds like the perfect chalice for you. Oh.
well, I was thinking that, but I don't, you know, I don't have video. I only have audio on mine. So nobody'd ever see it. But I kind of incorporated, you know, a little bit of Bill and a little bit of me into this chalice. And it wasn't that expensive. It's not like it's made out of pewter or
It
gold.
doesn't matter if it was 5 cents. It's the thought behind it that you took the time to
And I
see something
sent
that's
it.
personable to him.
I sent it to him. And then I watched Wednesday night. And now everybody's drinking out of a chalice. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you just pissed on my little thing here, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
don't focus on that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he was very appreciative. He was like, wow, this is, you know, so cool. Thank you, you know? But it kind of took away the specialness. Is that a word? Bill, is that a word?
I mean, it's not going to take away any worth of the chalice to you and to him. Like,
Yeah.
he, you know, probably feels like, you know, he was, you know, something that interests him, you know, like he likes his chalice. That's his thing.
Yeah. And
So,
you know what?
I mean, I don't care if he went on a podcast or TV and 1,000 people have chalices, he's going to have that one that was gifted to him because of something that he did.
Well, anybody that's read my book, Mr. Christopher Wants to See You, this sounds really weird. I know Bill's not an actor, but when I saw him for the first time drinking out of the chalice, I thought he would, it just sparked in my head, he would play a perfect Mr. Christopher. Because he's kind of like not real dark complected, but he's kind of like dark complected. He just has like a darker image to him. And then to see him drinking out of a chalice, you don't see anybody nowadays drinking out of a chalice.
Mm.
And I don't know, it was dark. It was paranormal to me. What is it?
Yeah, I read it. Yeah.
Oh, she hasn't commented since that?
No.
But, that's my daydreamer thing. That's part of being a Pisces. I sit there and I kind of try to dream of what could be, with the books and turning them into a movie. That's always been like in the back of my head. And I always even with like Fire Within Me, I'd sit there with you guys and say, I wonder who's going to play me in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to play Roxanne, who's going to play Nikki, and who's going to play, you and shit like that. But when I saw Bill with the chalice, that was the first thing I thought of was he'd be a perfect Mr. Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does have a raspy voice, and I don't know, it would just be cool. Anywho, we should probably start wrapping it up. I've got a million things to do.
Dying over there.
I want to get busy, and what did I say we were going to work on today?
Mm-hmm.
I put it in the group chat. Don't y'all pay attention to me?
I skim.
I'm waiting for Mason to work on tweaking the cover for both books.
Yeah, I'll probably do that today.
And getting the current photo in there because my other books had a picture of me back when I was 23, and I'd hate to go to a book signing and have people go, hey, old lady, where's that young girl that wrote these books, And then I want to get them back on the shelf so that I can sit down. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I'm going to look for literary agents and publishers that are accepting submissions for paranormal stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to send out as many copies of my manuscript as I can. And if we get rejection letters, we get rejection letters.
Whether people like it or not, the book is going to be on their desk.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be in their email, and it's going to be everywhere. I also want to start buying copies of the book so that we can go back to doing what we used to do, where we put them in the little free library boxes that are on the corners and get them in the libraries.
You could never keep the books in those things.
I know.
They'd come back, and then a couple hours later, somebody took the book again.
Yep. So that's what I want to do. I mean, like I've said before on my podcast, you have to think of my books like a drug dealer thinks of drugs. You have to give out those free samples. Give out as many free samples as you can, get them hooked, and have them coming back to you for more. So I think that's what I'm going to do tonight is those things. And I don't know, starting next week, I want to be focusing solely on writing book 2 of Fire Within Me, which is going to be titled I Am the Fire. If Bill is listening to this, I do need your help on something. I want to, for the cover, I want flames in the background, and I want to superimpose a picture of me walking out of the fire. I don't know how you do that. If you can think of an answer to help me out with that, let me know. Anybody want to add anything else?
No.
So, well, next week, Sunday, which is what date? Somebody look that up.
The second.
Okay, so April 2nd, we'll be back with the next episode of Supernatural Sunday. And we're going to be talking serial killers again. So join us at 4 p.m. Central Time. And until then, I pray that you all take care of each other, be nice to each other, and try to keep your, wits about you and your sanity, and don't let the shit that's going on in this world get you down. Um, I don't know, just pray that more people are more accountable for their actions in your life and in theirs. Pray for America, pray for the world, and we'll see you next week.